Oh, Canada, our home and native. Wait. I don't remember the lyrics. Okay, here's my passport. Back Canada. Bye.
Please fasten passenger seatbelt.
In search of our Canadian identity, co-producer Wingo and I wanted to go on a little road trip and decided on a place we both haven't been before. We heard about a mountain in the Canadian Rockies called HaLing Peak, a 9.5-hour drive from Vancouver. The name got us curious to why a mountain near Canmore, Alberta sounded Chinese. We both thought it was a meaningful destination and set forth to the majestic Rockies. But first, I need to make a quick stop at my buddy Dave's place. It's Canada Day. I remember growing up, for Canada Day, it was usually just hot dogs and hamburgers.
Yeah.
But this is pretty elaborate.
Yeah, we always do it elaborate.
Yeah. So what was your experience growing up in Canada? What was a Canada Day celebration? What was that like?
Back in Saskatchewan, where I'm from, that's pretty much what it would be. It'd be a family barbecue.
Yeah.
We'd get together and just hang out, have a good time.
In the past, before having kids, it's just going downtown and taking in the festivities downtown.
Yeah.
I love crowds, so it's always fun to be part of a big crowd like that to celebrate our heritage.
I don't think we celebrate Canada Day as big as Americans celebrate Independence Day.
So it depends where you are in Canada. I'm from Ontario.
Yeah.
And Parliament Hill is crazy today. Mm-hmm. Absolutely crazy.
Never experienced
and
that.
I think the closer you are to the capital,
that's not.
the more attached to Canada you are.
Take to the skies across our cars, ladies and gentlemen. Midnight has come and gone, and it is Canada Day, July 1st! Oh, Canada!
On the other side of the world, there's a bumpin' party. There are about 300,000 Canadians living in Hong Kong. It contains the largest population of Canadians outside of Canada. Conversely, about 500,000 Hong Kongers live in Canada.
Before I was studying in Australia, and I actually didn't like it, and I thought Canada and Australia are the same. For myself, I found the people that I met are nicer in Canada, much nicer.
Wingo immigrated to Canada in 1992 when he was 22 years old. You know, your kids, they lived on both sides, Hong Kong and in Vancouver.
Yes, they were born in Hong Kong.
Yeah, so what do they like?
They like Canada better.
Do they?
But before that, I didn't tell them that the Canadian school system is completely different from Hong Kong.
Yeah, more relaxed.
Because I don't want to give them hope.
Canadians are among the people around the world known for their spirit of volunteerism. So where are the Canadians here? Où sont les Canadiens?
Besides the stereotype of being nice and having a lax school system, Canadians can also be proud of Terry Fox, our national hero who turned an unfortunate diagnosis into an opportunity to help others and bring awareness to cancer.
The current big community event that we see now started 6 years ago here at Renaissance College. It's one of the features of these Terry Fox runs around the world. They become a very local thing. The run here in Hong Kong has a very good relationship with the people doing cancer research in Hong Kong and working with cancer patients here.
Terry Fox's name brings pride to all Canadians, as he's a symbol of perseverance, selflessness, and unity.
This is HaLing.
係咩？
Yeah. 我記得我喺我記得我喺 Google Maps 嗰度咧睇嗰條路係咁樣嘅。
HaLing, on the other hand, is a lesser-known man. He didn't die for any causes, he didn't make any discoveries, and he certainly wasn't a nobleman to have a mountain named after him. In fact, he was just a man from China that climbed a mountain. This mountain in particular. Well, me and Wingo are a couple of Chinese men, one from Vancouver and the other one from Hong Kong. Perhaps our names can be added to the summit as well.
Okay, so Wingo's got a bunch of gear on. He looks like he's ready for
War.
Yeah. This is what happens when you go hiking with a Boy Scout leader. He's got 2 cameras, a shoulder mount GoPro cam, and he's got bear spray.
And a belt.
And a belt, bear belt, because bears don't like bells, and
No.
that's why if you have a
Noise.
bear, oh, there you go. You have like a camel pack here, a reflector strap, chargeable batteries, gaffing tape. If we're gonna get lost, I guess it's good to be lost beside Wingo.
Yeah, so in 1896, a Chinese man named HaLing took a bet.
Bryce is a filmmaker with Sticks and Stones Productions, and they produce a documentary about HaLing Peak.
The bet was that someone couldn't climb it in a day, and HaLing took that bet and went up, came down. No one believed him, so he took people up the next day and showed them something that he'd left behind there at the peak to prove that he was there. And they were like, "Oh wow, you actually did it!" And there's an article in 1896 in the Medicine Hat Herald that says basically like this mountain should be named HaLing Peak in honor of HaLing.
But that didn't happen until 100 years later.
Sounds simple. With Hong Kong Chief Scout Award recipient Wingo and all of his survival gear, I'm confident we'll have no problems beating HaLing's time up to the top. We're unstoppable.
So our trip unfortunately ends in a bit of disappointment and bad luck. There's a closure here at HaLing Peak, which actually started yesterday. Damn it. So we're gonna try to find something else to do here. You know, I guess that's just the way life is, isn't it? Yeah.
Instead of the mountain playground, we're going to have a mountain battleground in the name of political correctness.
We were approached by CBC to make a documentary, and they asked us to pitch on something, and Scott Winder, the executive producer, was aware of the sort of legend of HaLing Peak a little bit, like the folk story. With that, it kind of piqued the interest of the writer and the director. They did a little more digging and kind of realized that like the history of the region and of that name and of that mountain is a much more complicated and interesting story than just kind of the folk story you hear.
Yeah, if not, we'll just come back. All right, so we're gonna join you. We're gonna go on an adventure.
All right.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
Canadians have a saying: if you roll up the rim and don't win, please try again. And just like that, we met a couple of hikers who let us tag along on their hike to a neighboring mountain, east end of Rundle. The EEOR is a hard, steep trail near Canmore, Alberta, and it takes about 5 hours round trip to complete.
Take deep breaths.
Fofi is from Alberta, and his girlfriend Ingrid is visiting from the Netherlands.
Are there a lot of hiking trails in Netherlands?
No, not really. You cannot really go hike. No. I feel like if there's a hike, it will be like 1 kilometer and it's done. You reach the point.
I live in Lethbridge, studying there for criminal justice.
Yeah.
And then she came there as an exchange student. And then that's when we met.
I think we met at the bar.
At the bar?
Yeah.
I just want to like live in a place in Canada where I'm able to like go explore the camping life and like go hiking and like do all those stuff in camp. In Liberia, coming to Canada, people were saying like, oh, Canada is so beautiful. Like you get everything for free. You get milk from coming down from the water. Like you get it for free. You just take your bucket there and get it for free. So
people say that, really?
yeah, and like people say that. And like when we came here, it was like,
where's the milk tap?
Yeah, it was like totally different. Like it was like and it was like totally different. And you come here like milk is so expensive. Like everything gets so expensive. So you don't get everything for free. You have to actually work for this stuff.
How do you do the perfect Instagram shot again?
Okay, so how to do a lot of poses. Basically, everywhere hurts. Stomach hurts. Head hurt. Leg hurt. Leg hurt. If you want to do a really unique one, you can be like ankle. Everywhere. It's just like.
Pam was an associate producer and cast member on my infamous show, HBIC TV Ultra Rich Asian Girls. She immigrated to Canada during high school when her parents felt that Vancouver better matched her spunky personality.
In China, you have to pay for all this. Like, they literally, like, you know, the green, the nature, the air, the environment mostly. And then I think mentality of people too, like how we think, how we do things, and then the pace of everything is just genuinely different.
While Chinese families like Pam's chose Canada for its fresh air, clean waters, and snow-capped mountain ranges today, 120 years ago, sojourners like HaLing chose Canada for its menial jobs in a foreign land for a Chinaman's wage. It really was a different time, and so was the name to HaLing Peak.
As a reward, I mean, they said the Medicine Hat Herald that they should name the peak HaLing Peak, and he was supposedly got a lot of money for it, but unfortunately that seems to have been forgotten quite quickly, and the name of the time that was used to refer to Chinese people was applied to the mountain for a very long time.
Chinaman is a term used by people who wanted to degrade an Asian person. It was common during HaLing's time to refer to a man from China, a poor laborer who worked for a quarter to the dollar, had no rights, and a disposable life. Chinaman's Peak was the unofficial name to the mountain until 1980s, when the Canadian government decided to officially name it that. Protests in the 90s to change that name came with harsh opposition from the locals.
The debate was honestly just that it had a name that people were used to. And, some people don't like to change things. And unfortunately, some people's response to change is not like, okay, let's understand this and move forward. It's, let's hold on to the past, no, and get defensive, and they fight back.
I was told Canada was going to be a better place for me to live. I wasn't thinking about racism, all that stuff, because I never felt that because I'm from Africa, right? Sure. But when I came here, I started seeing more stuff like that in smaller cities, living there. But when I started traveling to bigger cities, I went to Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton. It's more multicultural, right? It's a lot more people there, and they don't care what you do, and they don't judge you for anything. So yeah, it was nice. I think it's just they haven't traveled a lot, to get along with different cultures, to know different cultures, to get out of their comfort zone, go to cultural centers and just explore and see different cultures in Canada, right? They don't have that kind of experience, but if they do, they will have different feelings, the way they treat people.
Yeah, so in 1997 they did end up changing the name of the mountain, from the racist name to HaLing Peak in honor of HaLing, who climbed it. But if you look on the maps, there's a lot of names in that region that are needing to be changed and could be changed, whether it's officially or colloquially.
Wow. Although we couldn't follow the legend of HaLing on its historical hike, we did admire its majestic beauty from across. And from this perspective, we see his legacy and the people who fought for his legacy as something now to be proud of. Because for Asian Canadians like us, it's not just a name, it's a sense of belonging. Our Canadianize Me road trip has taken us across BC and just into Alberta. When we first started, we wanted to know what a Canadian is. Is it a face? Is it a lifestyle? Or is it the amount of double coffees that we drink? Actually, what we discovered is many different faces.
I don't like dying here because I love it. So peaceful.
Living in all sorts of different places.
Yeah, that is a Canadian right there, yeah.
With their own story to tell. And there's still more to discover.